Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Cai Zhemi. I'm the school principal, and this is Director Yu and Mr. Marchand. We are here today to discuss our new international bilingual program at Yangming High School. Our presentation today will last about 20 minutes. We will be presenting this today using a Q&A format. Mr. Marchand, there will be a new international class at Taipei Municipal Yangming High School. Would you please give us a brief introduction of what studying at Yangming High School will look like for our children?
Sure, Principal Tsai. Well, Yangming High School is located in the Shilin district of Taipei City. Yangming High School is very conveniently located because we have a bus stop that is right next to our school, as well as other bus stops that are very close by. If you don't want to use the bus, you can also access our school by MRT. There are 2 MRT stations that are very conveniently located near our school. The first one is Shilin MRT stop, and the other one is Jintian station stop. Both of them are about 10 minutes walking distance, so if you choose to take the MRT, you can still get to our school very easily. Additionally, our campus was built through very famous and very traditional Chinese architecture. So our campus is actually quite beautiful. There are a lot of leisure activities that the students can do at the green gardens. There we also have a fully functioning modern gymnasium. So students will have a lot of things to do during their leisure time and during breaks. Our high school focuses on fostering critical thinking and higher level thinking skills. Rather than rote memorization, we want our students to be able to come up with their own ideas and also create projects from the beginning to the end. We want them to ask questions and generate information on their own using teacher guidance. Our school also has many international exchange activities. Here, our students will meet with Japanese students throughout the year through international exchange. During COVID period, we have been doing online exchange with these Japanese students. But when COVID ends, our students will have the opportunity to meet with the Japanese students, and which will facilitate their English learning abilities. We also have Canadian and American exchanges, as well as French exchanges. Just like Japanese school, during COVID, our exchanges are online. But after COVID situation dies down, then the students will have the chance to meet with American students, French students, and Canadian students. Our Yangming High School also has the opportunity for students to complete a dual degree program with a school in Saskatoon, Canada, which is in Saskatchewan province. Students who do this program will be able to do courses in English online with a Canadian instructor and be able to get a dual degree.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Marchand. And
Okay, Debbie, I have a question. Which courses are on offer for the international bilingual class? And which classes are required and which will be considered optional? And additionally, how many credits are required for graduation and which choice and the student can choose?
Well, if we look here, we can see our course map for the Taipei Yangming High School. This is for our international bilingual program. It is a little bit different than the normal program because there are only 3 MOE required courses now. Instead of the full course load, international students must complete English, mathematics, and physical education subjects. Additionally, they will be required to complete cross-cultural communication courses through their 3 years. At the end of the program, students will be expected to complete a capstone project, which includes a graduation essay. This project will be student-directed project using research methods that they will work on through the 3 years while they're here at Yangming High School. Students also will take optional courses, which will include 4 optional courses each semester. These optional courses include things like Chinese, art, history, geography, IT, which is information technology, and some other additional subjects, which will change throughout the semesters. Students also have the chance to have individualized courses like academic research. They can choose a second foreign language, maybe Japanese or French, and Spanish. Or they can choose some test-taking classes like SAT or TOEIC classes. The program is bilingual, so some of these programs will be taught only in English, and some will be taught in Chinese, and some will be bilingual, which means they will have Chinese and English. The English classes will be taught purely in English, which means the exams will also be in English. Math and sciences will be bilingual, which means there will be English and Chinese instruction with tests being conducted in Chinese. And physical education, Chinese, and art and any other classes that are not yet mentioned here will be taught entirely in Chinese. There is one exception. This is social sciences. There will be some social science classes that will be taught purely in English as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Machan. And I have still a question. What is the procedure for enrolling in the international bilingual class? What does the timetable for enrollment look like, and which dates are most important? If I have additional questions or concerns, where can I go to get additional information?
I'm glad you asked this question. If we look here, we can see what the application requirements look like. Here, the students who will be allowed into this program must be must be children of foreign professionals. So they must be gold card holders. This means that our selection requirements are based on the Taiwanese government's requirement for gold card holders. For example, they must be foreigners who are engaged in professional work. There are several categories that have been chosen. For example, science and technology, economics, education, culture, arts, sports, and occasionally the government will allow other fields based on their requirements. But these will come from the government. So, there are other things as well. Ministry of Education has approved our classes for all foreign students as long as they fit the gold card holder. In summary, all of the students who are allowed into this program, they must be approved by the government first. They must be certain foreign worker that fit these requirements. If you have any additional questions, you can go to, let me go back to it. Here, Yangming High School website, which is www.ymsh.tp.edu.tw, which you can see on the screen.
Okay, David. I have a question. What is the procedure for enrolling in the international bilingual class?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. So first I want to mention that this class is only for the children of foreign professionals, and the requirements for who can enroll is based on the government regulation. Currently, those regulations are tied to gold card, which means that the parents must meet certain requirements, such as working in certain fields, science and technology, economics, education, culture, arts, sports, and other fields that sometimes the government will approve. So this is based on the government. Also, for the administration procedures, there will be two parts to enrollment. First one is your application. This application will be several documents that you must submit. After you submit the documents, then we will schedule an interview, which will be 30 minutes with the student and also with the parent. For the student, we will be talking about what kind of things that they're looking for in education. And when we talk to the parents, we want to make sure that we both understand the procedures of the class and what the class will look like. So we want to talk to every parent and every student. The registration date. So it's important to also make sure that you register and put your documents in by July 1st. So the registration will be from May 13th to July 1st. So, like I said, there will be two parts. First, submit the paperwork, and then we will have the interview for everybody who passes and gets all their documents in on time.
Okay, David, what document will I need to submit for the application?
I'm glad you asked this question because there are a few things you must submit before your application can be considered complete. One, you must fill out the application form, but also you need to submit one passport photo or a copy of your ID card if you are a Taiwanese citizen. You also need to attach a copy of your ARC for if you are not Taiwanese. You also must attach an agreement form, a copy of your ARC, like I said, as well as your working visa and your passport if you are not Taiwanese. Not the students, but the parents' passport. You must also attach a copy of a birth certificate or kinship notarization or any official documents that shows that the student is related to you. You also must submit a copy of your employment certificate and one of the following. So it can be any of these two, okay? Either an employment gold card or a certificate of employment and labor insurance card. And they must have the official seal of the company or the agency you work for. And you must also attach your official school transcripts in English, so make sure that they're in English, for the last 2 years, and a certificate of status letter. Please upload them to the website, so make sure that you turn them into electronic copies so you can submit them online. Just as a disclaimer, do not submit any forged documents. Make sure all of them are genuine before you submit them, because if we find out that they are fake or forged, then we must disqualify. But just a disclaimer.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Thank you. Okay, David, what does the timetable for enrollment look like, and which dates are most important?
Okay, so the timetable looks like this. If you look behind me, there will be the enrollment will be broken into two. So the first one is going to be the paper application, and the second part will be the interview. Okay, so your admission briefing is what you're listening to right now. After that, the application will open, and it will be open from May 13th to July 1st. So between those two dates, you must submit your paper application. You can submit them online using this QR code or this link. All documents must be submitted online. After we have reviewed all of the paperwork, then we will schedule interviews. And we will schedule interviews starting July 7th, and then the actual interviews will take place the next day on July 8th. After we have done the interviews and we've gone through all the interviews and the paper application, then we will announce the results of which students have been admitted to the program. This will happen on July 11th. If you want us to review the application again, and maybe we made a mistake, then you must request by July 13th, which is a Wednesday. And then after this, then we will announce enrollment, where students can come and sign up for classes. That will happen on July 14th at Yangming High School. Afterward, if you decide that you don't want your student to attend anymore, you must tell us by July 18th. So this is the deadline to withdraw a student from the course. So,
Okay, David.
Yes.
I have the next question.
yes.
What is the purpose of the agreement form? What will all my student and I be expected to agree to in order to attend school at Yangming Senior High School?
Yeah, so the purpose of this enrollment form is so that the students and the staff and the school are on the same page. So we want to make sure that the students understand the expectations and what's special about the class. So here I want to point out that the class will be different from the regular enrollment of high school. For example, there will be English and Chinese in this program, and so some of the classes will be, the required classes will be different for this class than for the traditional high school. Also, we will offer Chinese language enhancement, so some supplementary materials for those students who are struggling with Chinese. And we want to make sure that the students are aware. We also want to make sure that students are following academic integrity principles that our school follows, such as understanding what does it mean to plagiarize or to cheat. We want to make sure the students understand the rules ahead of time. We also want to make sure that students are aware that if they take this course, they will not be exempt from the draft requirement, which means that they must serve in the Taiwanese military if they are Taiwanese citizens. Also, the instructional assessment system will be a little bit different, which means that students will not be able to use the STAR plan to get into the Taiwanese college system. And also, I want them to be aware that it might be more difficult to get into university for these students because the entrance exam in the Chinese university are always, the Taiwanese university will always be in Chinese, sorry. And so this is important to know, that it might be a little more difficult for students to pass this Chinese exam. And we want them to know before they enroll that this may be a thing, a stumbling block.
Okay.
That is all I have.
Okay, thank you, David. Thank you for your presentation, and welcome to join us